Coming up next on this special Arizona Veterans Coming Home edition of Arizona Horizon, we'll look at the variety of ways to honor veterans for their service. We'll hear about how veterans are giving back to their communities. And we'll discuss how the arts are helping veterans. That's next on this special edition of Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to this special Arizona Veterans Coming Home edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. We begin tonight by focusing on ways to honor and acknowledge the service of veterans. We spoke with Joanna Sweat, the Veterans Initiatives Program Manager for LearnKey and the Chief Operating Officer of the Veterans Directory, and Phil Yin, who served as a Marine in Vietnam in the 60s and is a board member of the Veterans Heritage Project Yearbook. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Before we get too far into the Veterans Heritage Project, sounds very interesting. Tell us what this is.
So the Veterans Heritage Project is where we capture oral histories from our veterans so that we can record those histories, share them with other people so that they're more aware of what service means.
And as far as actually doing this, give us the process of getting these oral histories.
It's, well, just to go back real quick, you know, the Veterans Heritage Project is in its 12th year. It's founded by Barbara Hatch, 5013 nonprofit organization. What it does is it connects not only students from schools, but also their families, the community, partnering the schools. And what it does is the students sit with a veteran with a one-on-one interview for about 3 hours. And that interview is recorded and videotaped, and the student is responsible for publishing it, editing it, and then it goes to the Washington, D.C. Veterans History Project and goes into a book. It's called Since You Asked, and we're on our 12th edition. We've interviewed over 1,200 veterans. That book goes into the Library of Congress.
Wow. Since you asked, a very interesting title. I would imagine just asking is a way to honor and acknowledge veterans.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Talk to us more about this and a variety of ways to let veterans know that you're interested.
Everybody's story is different. We have a common thread when we serve, and there's a lot of camaraderie that's built up. But everybody has a different experience that they take from their time in the military. So it's important to capture all of those different histories so people can understand how even people operate in different branches, how women have served and have transcended over time, and now that we're moving into an age where women are moving more into combat element roles. So it's very important to document all this so that we have that historical content. And then it, like Mr. Yin said, it brings it back to the community. And so it kind of helps reintegrate them. And I can say, I shared my story, not thinking that it was very relevant, just for a student project, not for this big project just yet. And it was very empowering, and it let me kind of validate my service, which I had never done. And that then empowered me to raise my hand and say I am a veteran, and that I am very proud to be that.
I was going to say, it's interesting for the students, it's interesting for record keeping and such,
right.
But when someone asks you about you, it's interesting to you, isn't it?
Absolutely, and in fact, I was in volume 11, and when I first got interviewed, when Barbara Hatch asked me to be interviewed, I reluctantly, accepted, because I knew there was going to be some difficult times. In fact, a lot of the things that were said, my wife didn't even know about.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was cathartic.
Yes.
And it relieved a lot of tension and pain, but I think it was very therapeutic. Yeah, for me.
Did you find the same thing as well?
Absolutely. I served in OIF in 2003, and so I still suffered from a lot of anxiety and trauma. And so just talking about it and just talking about my service, it just helps you release it, because we spend so much time hoarding it away, hiding it, and not engaging in that dialogue. And it affects you negatively, in fact.
I want to get, obviously the project is fantastic and it works in a variety of ways, but I want to find out other ways, as a veteran, ways to acknowledge, to honor your service. What works?
Well, you know, when I look at it, and I think you'll agree that in the last 10 years, there's probably been a lot of awareness now of veterans. And I look at it in 4 different ways. I look at it from a learning standpoint, remembering, honoring, and thanking the veterans. And learning, VHP, right, Veterans Heritage Project, what better way for our next future generation leaders to learn about veterans with a one-on-one, you know, interview. We have, for instance, the Veterans Foreign Wars. We have a program, it's called Voice of Democracy and Patriots Pen, and we work with schools. Every year there's a different topic, and the student writes an essay. And that essay, it's a contest, and it's all about either, what do you feel about veterans? Let's say one of the topics. So how do you feel about the flag? What does patriotism mean to you? So that they compete state-wise, and then the winner goes to national, and if they win, they get a $30,000 scholarship.
Which is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Fantastic for them, but good for the veterans
Yeah.
as well. And
Right.
I kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on that. The impact of, again, acknowledging and honoring veterans, not just to you, but to those around you. What do you see?
A lot has changed. So the landscape of being a veteran that comes home is quite celebratory now. We see all the feel-good videos, all the welcome homes, but what happens after that? And so to me, it's not enough to say thank you, although that's very appreciative. But I, as a veteran, as an advocate for veterans, want to see more action. So if you want to thank a veteran, thank them with an opportunity. Thank them with a process to help them transition. So if they have a route that they're trying to achieve and you know somebody or you can help them along that route, then take them on that journey. So what I'd like to see more happening in the community is people making pathways for veterans, and that is a way that we can honor them and help them reintegrate into our society much faster and quicker.
It was interesting how she said that it's changed, the attitude to returning veterans. You return, when did you return?
67.
67, a little different.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back on those years and you look now, what do you think?
Well, you know, in fact, when I got back, when I was telling her that I joined the VFW actually in 67, right outside of Camp Butler, there was a VFW post there in 67. Everybody joined, right? And then when we came back, I sort of went to the VFW post, walked in there, and they say, "Oh, you are a Vietnam vet?" He says, "Is that a war?" I never went back to that
Holy
post
smokes.
until 2009 when I became active in the VFW. Took all those years.
My
Yep,
goodness.
Yep. They say, "Is that a war?"
Yeah.
That was it. But
conflict
yeah, I
slash
mean,
war.
I think, remembering, honoring them, all currently we have Vietnam Memorial, the Wesley Boland Plaza. I mean, I think we're showing, there's a change now.
And if someone were just, and you say you want more than a thank you, but if someone does walk up to you, shakes your hand, says thank you, that still means a lot.
Well,
doesn't
you know
it?
what?
Absolutely.
That is the greatest gratitude and feeling I know that I can get. Someone, 10 years ago, nobody did that. No one, nobody ever did that. Nowadays, it's very common. We, go out to dinner or in the shopping center or something, somebody walks up to you, they see, if I'm wearing a Marine Corps shirt or something, right? They shake your hand, they say, "Thank you for your service." And I tell you, it really touches you.
And last question here, it does make a difference, whether it be finding a homebound veteran and helping there, or helping with chores with someone who can't quite get her, those sorts of things, it does make a difference.
It makes a huge difference. Because so many times they've come home and they're isolating themselves, or they're trying to find that quiet escape, but really that's not going to help them be more successful in their life and be integrative. So it's important that our community welcomes them in that way and helps them along that journey.
All right, well, thank you both for
Thank
your
you.
service,
Thank you.
and
Thank
thank you
you
so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we look at the many ways veterans can and do serve their communities. David Lucier is a decorated Army veteran who has served on numerous boards and commissions, and Tate Elke is a Marine veteran who also has a long history of community service. It's good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ted.
Veterans serving the community. Give us some examples. Give us examples of how you have served the community as a veteran.
Well, I've come back from 3 wars, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And so each time I came back, it was a little bit different. And I started hearing this thing about this term called transition. And that was, and it seemed to make sense. It seemed like a good word. But then it became real because I was coming home once again. And the answer, or the question at the time was, now what? Now what do you do? And so I asked some people. I took people's advice and asked around, and somebody put me to work. Building a veterans memorial out in Tempe. And so that was kind of my entree into not only transitioning back into the community, but also working in the veterans community.
Talk to me about your experience. Again, coming back, you got talent, you got skills, but it's a whole different environment.
Oh, absolutely. You serve with men at the time. I was in a combat unit in the Marines, and you serve beside these men every day, and you develop these brotherhood. And then once you get out, you kind of lose that, and you don't develop the kind of friendships that you do while you're in the military. So some of the things that I looked into after getting out was, and I did join VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, and different organizations such as that, to reconnect with men and women that had similar experiences.
And as far as some of these volunteer, it sounds like a lot of volunteer work is involved. This can range from intense activity to just maybe a weekend activity.
That's exactly right. It could involve going and helping a veteran in need at their home, doing some repairs, or some of our veteran organizations do food sales at different fairs and fundraising, and they use those monies to support different organizations.
And fellows like Tate are good at that. I don't do particularly well on a one-on-one basis, but I do seem to think that I do a little bit better when it comes to building models for opportunities for veterans. We were successful in getting passed in the legislature some years ago the in-state tuition bill for veterans. Huge impact. I worked with Dr. Crow at ASU to build out a veterans model for support for their success. And so that's the pathway that I chose.
I was going to say, you kind of have to know what you do best, maybe what your limitations are, because, I mean, the impact on veterans, I mean, you can serve in new ways, you've got tough new challenges. These are all things that as military people, you have experience with.
That's absolutely correct. I'm also an attorney, and I serve on an advisory committee that is working to bring a veterans court to the East Valley. It's involving Scottsdale, Mesa, and Tempe, and it's in early stages presently, but it's going to be developed to serve the needs of veterans and the special needs that they have coming back from serving in conflict, and the issues that arise out of that, such as addictions, mental illness, alcohol, substance abuse.
Please.
Oh, I was just going to say that if we pull back and sort of vision this thing, and we vision Arizona as being the most veteran supportive state in the nation in education and training, jobs and economic opportunity and health and wellness, and all these other things kind of come from that. The Veterans Court is a great example. Phoenix is, I think, the largest veterans court in the country now in just a few short years. Tempe just stood up a veterans court in a little over a year. They've got about 200 people going through it. They've had about 100 people successfully complete that process with zero recidivism at the end.
Yes.
So it's reaching out and building these models that folks like Tate can kind of take over and implement and help veterans be successful.
For fellow veterans that are out there and who might find this interesting and want to know more about how it would benefit them, starting a new career, gaining practical work experience, just finding a new way to serve at home, it's pretty important stuff, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is, because again, when you're working with your fellow service members day after day after day, you lose that little bit of that camaraderie that you have, and being able to serve on the weekends with fellow veterans that have served in Vietnam, Afghanistan. There's a number of World War II veterans that we're losing day by day, but being able to do that and reconnect and speak the same language, that's extremely important.
And giving direction, and I think the bottom line is just having a sense of purpose.
Absolutely. Coming home from a combat situation, you're there one day, and today's the way we travel. You're home the next, and you find yourself literally staring down the cereal aisle, trying to figure out what's next. What am I going to do that is going to be as meaningful as as the environment I just came out of? Again, the idea of transition is huge, and Tate touched upon this, where you've got your clothes, your language, the people that you work, the work itself is all very much culturally induced, and all of a sudden you come home and things have changed.
Yes.
And it's like you've stepped off the rocket ship onto an alien planet. The language is different, you know? I mean, people act differently.
They do, but getting a job done and that sense of purpose and the teamwork involved, that has to help. With that in mind, how does a veteran figure out, I want to help the community? How does the community figure out, I want some help from vets?
Sure. There's a number of ways, but basically connecting with other veterans is one of the good ways. There are a myriad of resources available to them online. If you were to just Google veterans activities or veteran resources, literally hundreds of thousands of sites would come up and connect. One of the best ways is to find a buddy, find your battle buddy, as they call them in the Army, and ask them what's going on out there.
Yeah.
How can I get involved? And so you can get involved very easily with organizations like the Mission Continues or Red, White, and Blue or Team Rubicon, all designed to bring veterans together.
And we should mention that studies show that vets volunteer more than civilians.
Well, I think it's just the fact that it's what made them a veteran to begin with is that their dedication to the community, dedication to their country. And when you're in the military, whether it's Marine or the Army, and we have this rivalry, of course, between the Army and the Marines, and it's long-standing. But when you serve, you meet other service members, you know what they've been through, and you have that shared experience together. But I think that veterans really want to give back to the community because it's ingrained in them.
All right, we got to stop it right there. That's a great place to stop too. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We wrap up our Arizona Veterans Coming Home special with a focus on veterans and the healing powers of the arts. We spoke with Judy Combs, founder of Scottsdale-based American Healing Arts Foundation, which provides free arts classes for veterans, and Hal Stewart, a veteran, and he's an instructor at American Healing Arts Foundation. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
American Healing Arts Foundation, what is this, and why did you get this started?
Well, I'm the owner of two businesses that are art related. And of course, when you have your own business, you're working 7 days a week. And one day after I finished, I thought, well, I'm going to quit early. It was like 7 o'clock in the evening. And I sat there and I started thinking about our veterans that are out on maneuvers, that come back. Sometimes it's too late to go in and get something to eat. And those that are sitting out on watch and their heart pounding. I don't know, I just had that evening that it hit me like I need to do something, but I don't have the hours to volunteer. So I talked to my brother and his wife. We have a show that runs for 10 weeks. It's called the Arizona Fine Art Expo. And I said, what if we have some classes here free for the veterans? And that's how it started. And that's our way of saying thank you. And to Hal,
like
a veteran.
Hal,
Yes.
Indeed, Hal, you're a veteran. How did you get involved with the foundation, and talk to us about the difference it's made in your life?
The reason I got involved is Judy is a very, very good friend of mine, and as one of her showing artists there at the show, she asked if I would be interested in teaching veterans, and my answer was, of course, yes. So.
And again, you do sculpture work, correct?
Yes, I'm a sculptor.
I think we have a shot of an amazing piece of work that you have done.
Thank you.
Talk to us about what just the process of making something like this beautiful piece of art, the process, what does it do for you?
Well, this particular piece I made because I was at a Purple Heart convention in Scottsdale. There was a group there who did therapy using horses for the veterans, returning veterans. And it struck me that I need to do something. like Judy, I felt that I needed to do more than just exist. So this is why I put together this piece. It started in clay. I went back home, made it in clay, and then of course sent it to my foundry, and they won't go through the bronzing process.
Yeah. But I mean, when you first started doing these sorts of things, obviously everyone starts their art somewhere along the line.
Oh, yes.
Was it a release for you? Was it a way to get rid of thoughts, memory? Talk to us about that.
No, I was sitting home one day. I had retired from construction and had a piece of clay, and I made a head about 2-3 inches tall. A friend came over and said if I would continue finishing the head, put a body underneath it, that he would pay for the casting and buy the first piece. I had nothing to lose. So I have a talent that I did not know I had. It was there. It obviously had been dormant for many years in my life. I picked up some clay and a talent came out. And I think that when you're given a talent like that, it's your responsibility to share that. That's why I want to share with my brothers and sisters who are veterans.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, the artist's responsibility to basically
Yes.
share your art with the world. That's
Yes.
what you're here for. For those who maybe not quite as talented as Hal, but still enjoy dabbling, just enjoy creating, talk about what you've seen with veterans who get involved with the arts.
Oh, the stories are almost draw you to tears. They really do. One veteran, just this last season, he said, "Judy, can I tell you what your classes have done for me?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "First of all, I want to tell you that I was homebound after Vietnam. I was so depressed, and so he spent a lot of, I don't know how many years, but it was a long period of time. One day he thought, well, I'm going to go to VA. So he went to the VA and he spoke with the counselor there. And after he talked to her, she said, "You are so depressed and this and that." She said, "I don't think there's anything we can do for you." Now this was the VA, and I would think maybe it's 5 or 6 years ago. So when he got up, a lady gave him a flyer from American Healing Arts Foundation. He called us. He said, "These classes have done more for me. I have my life back." Stories like that.
I mean, that must make you feel like this is working.
Oh,
this is a good
it
thing.
is working. It is. The stories that we've heard, it's unreal.
As an instructor, who are you seeing out there? When a veteran comes in, looks like maybe there could be some PTSD, just something looks like he needs more grounding, he needs some help, some guidance, something. What do you do?
You basically let them lead you. If they're hesitant to be around people, many people, you don't allow visitors in your classroom. You keep it confined to just the few veterans that are there. We had one lady who was terribly camera shy. I didn't ask her reason, but whenever we had cameras come into our classroom, I told her prior so that she could leave the classroom or she could go sit behind one of the partitions. When they come in, most of them are normal people. They've been through some experiences that you and I would hopefully never have to endure. It's a chance for them to relax and be with their old comrades, their old veteran buddies. It's a chance for them to create, to express themselves. And some of the things we have done out there, like Judy says, it's next to a miracle. Some of the things we've seen happen with some of our veterans.
Oh, that must be fantastic. I would imagine just making art would give a veteran just simple hope, doesn't it?
You have a loss. I mean, your mind just goes peaceful, and you're working on the piece. That's the only thing I can say because I've painted, and I know that I could be worried about things, start painting, and you're lost in that, and it takes them away from the battlefields and just into a peaceful setting. And that's what one of the veterans said to me. When I thanked him for our freedom, and he said, "Well, thank you." He said, "When I'm painting and that," he said, "I forget about being in, on the battlefield and that."
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, just the stories are beautiful.
And as far as when you have someone in your class, I mean, do you find with some veterans they're still in kind of a military mindset where it almost has to be perfect, the job's got to get done, 1, 2, A, B? I mean, do you get a little bit of that?
Yes, and sometimes they drive you nuts, but you tend to put up with it. You have to. But the veterans who come in there, it's their chance to be creative. We have veterans, I don't know whether you knew this or not, we have a World War II veteran.
We have a couple. Yeah.
Couple, and he's 90 some odd years old, and he is so spry, and he doesn't miss one class. He gets there. His wife brings him, and he's probably more active than some of the 50-year-old veterans we have.
Has to be very, very important. Before we go, the message, if some veterans are watching, family members of veterans are watching, and maybe they're at a loss now, they can't figure out the next step, convince them that the arts is something to look into.
Well, it is healing through the arts, and we are drug-free. And we just want an environment that is comfortable, it's friendly, and there's no pressure when they come in. And there's no pressure to be here the next week, but they enjoy it so much, they start to follow us.
Well, great work and continued success. Congratulations. Congratulations as well. Beautiful piece of artwork.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here and for your
you.
service.
Thank you.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of Arizona Horizon. You have a great evening.
If you have comments about Arizona Horizon, please contact us at one of the addresses on your screen. Your comments may be used on a future edition of Arizona Horizon. Thank you. Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Stories of veterans coming home on Arizona PBS are made possible by a grant from CPB, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
There is no need to produce foods yourself to be sure they're all natural. Now there's Open Nature from Albertsons and Safeway, a line of foods made with natural ingredients. Open Nature at Albertsons and Safeway.